Okay, and we're live. Hello, everyone. It's the Nameless one. I'm back with Ellis, Argo, uh, Paige, and Cameo, as well as Moon. Again, guest DMing. At least until I get a hold of the system that we're working with. We're okay. Who wants to do the recap for the last session?
So we nearly got killed by bugs. Yes. No. We just woke up. They did some stupid stuff while I was sleeping, and what ended up happening was that fire is the solution. And toasted bugs taste good.
Yeah.
And then once we finished with that, we stepped outside.
Okay. So, you guys, now that you are outside, if you remember, I told you guys that the landscape looked like shit.
Yeah, it looked like some shit fucked it up, some big shit.
Not far from the entrance of what you now realize is an underground facility is a crashed, what looks like a Pegasus cart. Although it's a lot bigger than the ones that you, for the people that actually lived in Equestria, it's bigger than the ones that you remember last time you saw a cart. What do?
No, we should check that out. Oh, but we can. I kind of forgot to say.
What are you trying to do?
I just remembered that I forgot about scrounging as a skill.
You have search. Search would work as well.
Okay. I guess I'll investigate and search the cut because it looks interesting.
Are you searching for anything in particular?
Anything interesting?
So, when you get to the cart, start looking around, you see a lot of the Royal Guard style uniforms. Well, remains of them. And you also notice that they looked like they were trying to cart away a lot of the stasis pods. Now the majority of the ones that you're seeing are busted. Either the glass or whatever plastic or whatever they were using for the front cover was broken, or whatever it was attached to was for the most part destroyed. But when you get to the back, you do find one that is fairly well intact. In fact, it is still glowing slightly with a low power warning. When you take a look inside, there is a smallish zebra.
I look for Butter. Go over.
Let's see.
What do you see? I see some pony inside. Oh, great. Another pony? No, that's not a pony! It's a zebra, that's not a pony! I'm using a general reference. Dude, you're totally alive.
So You can go ahead and try and use your computer skills that you have suddenly gained.
I had to fix my stuff, okay? I passed. Okay.
So, fiddling with the interesting tech, which you were still recognizing as almost beyond the things that you've seen before, you do manage to somehow pop the lid on it.
No. Oh my god. Bro. Are you trying to get my attention? Try to get the Zebra's attention. I don't want to be super rude.
Zebra's
Zebra. Zebra, you need to wake up. Hello? Hello there, Zebra. Are you okay? Qu'est-ce que c'est? Well, nice. It's been a while since I've seen them. Wait. Sorry, my memory is very foggy. I'm not a pony. Wait. Does this look like a pony? That's looks a bit closer. So you were not. Alright. What exactly are you? I'm a dragon?
You sound like you're questioning that yourself right now.
I'm more confused with the fact that someone does not know what a dragon is. Sorry, there have not been any dragons near my village as I've grown up. It is simply, you are simply not someone that I would have seen before. Oh, that's pretty interesting. Literally never seen one though. Like, had this screech migration thing. I wonder if we're still doing it. Anytime soon? Oh, now you got me thinking. I kept from wherever it was to pop the lid off. And I wave. Hi.
Are you in bug form or are you in a pony form?
Well, I never specified that I was in pony form.
That's why I'm asking right now.
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
So this entire time you've been the bug. Yes. What are you? I say my name is Sidex, and I'm a changeling. Does that mean anything to you? No idea. Oh, by the way, my name is Moon. Forgot to introduce myself. Sorry about that. And you know what? What is a changeling? A changeling is a pony bug thing that has special magic. Yeah, that's what a changeling is.
Why is it saying that? Okay, so hold on. I think the stream is having a seizure.
Oh, oh no.
Normally it tells me that there's at least one person watching no matter what, and right now it's trying to tell me nobody's watching at all. Oh, there it goes. I think it figured its light out. Don't worry, it's only slightly dying.
I hope not. He's resuscitated.
Okay, so once you guys are done introducing and all that, just so you're aware, for the most part, there's not a lot around you. There is, however, not far from where you are, you can see what looks like train tracks. So, if you want to do a thing, then feel free.
Where are the others?
Also, just assume that the Pegasus is with you at the moment. No magically disappearing peoples. What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to make it work to where if it's less than 10, it's a success, but apparently it's not wanting to great.
I don't think
It's based off each roll. It's using the Shadowrun version of the success.
Don't you have to put parentheses in it though? Like, I'm pretty sure you have to put parentheses.
Even if you do the parentheses,
I don't see. Nope.
it's not even acknowledging it. But
Go. Continue on.
what are you guys going to do now? You have collected a new companion.
Would you like some toasted roach meat? Tastes pretty good. Yeah, some extra. Sure. Let me go plate. Here you go. Did you sound it gross out just now? That was me. Question for Nameless. How good is this roach meat?
So the meat itself is kind of burnt and has a weird gummy texture and smells faintly of garbage.
This tastes terrible. What? It tastes good. What do you mean it tastes terrible? That's quality, but it's still good.
It's also got a weird crunchy texture on top of everything too.
The crunch is what makes it the best. Don't worry, I think it's over. I think we should go towards the train tracks. Train tracks? Yeah, there's train tracks in that direction. I point to the direction. Where would those lead? I shrug.
I mean, one would.
it's away from here.
Obvious answer is obvious.
Painfully obvious. Alright.
I mean,
Wanna try?
you kind of asked the obvious question with the obvious answer. So,
But y'all are so yeah, man, y'all could have said my side better.
So we don't have signs of anything.
The tracks, do the tracks go north, south, east, or east?
Okay, so we're inventing new directions for these train tracks.
Yep. Let's look know where these, which direction these train tracks are in.
So
Which direction are they in?
they head north to south.
These tracks, they head from north to south.
I can just imagine this being delivered in this, like, why are ponies so stupid type of voice.
Yeah. Let's say that way. Halfway north.
Okay. Does everybody else agree with the decision on the direction?
Any other direction?
Yep. That's why I said that way.
Okay.
Just starting to walk down the road.
Alright, let's go.
It's just walking. So you guys start traveling for a little while, and for the most part, you really don't see much of anything alive, including most plant life. Like occasionally, you'll come up to like you could call it a tree, but you wouldn't be judged for calling it a bush. But it also you can't really tell whether or not it's actually alive. You know the scrubby little things I'm talking about, right? It's just that weird. I don't know if I count this as alive or just like.
It's just
Uh,
it exists.
See, because it's either alive or a fire hazard. But you do also occasionally come up to the occasional skeleton.
I tried to.
If you would like, you would try to. You could roll for something in your skills to try and identify what the skeleton might have been.
What would that be?
So for if you, it depends on who's going to identify it because you may have a skill for it. So we need to. I'm going to. I'm going to say for the Moop it'll be intelligence -3 because I don't see a skill that would really give you a good idea. For Cynex, gonna go with the same. Let's see. As well as a slashing shadow apparently, and for our zebra, I have to decide which skill it should be. I'm going to go with the naturalist. You can try naturalist. Let's see. And then
To roll under, right?
either meet it or roll under.
No. I just hope no one's.
Minus 36. I'm smart.
I have flipped.
Oh, I actually said that.
So against all odds, you realize that this skeleton is actually a buffalo. So
No, they pick you up.
you also come across a couple earth pony skeletons and one griffin skeleton. Well, you do know enough to know that the buffalo are native to the area around Appaloosa.
Surprising. My character just knows that.
So, you guys are continuing your travel and it's starting to get dark. What do?
Set up camp. Basically camping gear that we got.
Okay. So, how do you want to set your camp up? You can do it in a defensive type of way, a camouflagey type of way, or a comfortable type of way.
There's really like nothing near us.
Yeah, I think it's coming. Another comment. I don't know how afraid this is a little bit weird place.
I mean, I'm really not afraid, but y'all really can't fight, so you probably should go with the camouflage.
I am also going to point out that just because you haven't seen anything doesn't mean anything isn't there.
Yeah, but we have an experience this world enough to know how dangerous it is.
Welcome to my roaches. Reminder, y'all could not fight roaches.
Yeah, there's roaches
I would
there this time.
I would also like to point out that roaches are not even the worst thing you guys could come up against. Just wait till you find something with an armor divisor.
Yeah, I was that I think my character's first thought to okay, we just need a comfortable place to sleep.
Because we were sleeping in a pod for a while.
Okay.
Just like myself a hole, just sleep there. Dragons don't really give a shit.
Are you guys going to set up a watch?
I don't see why not. As player perspective.
So how are you going to set up the watch? The assumption is dawn till dusk or dusk till dawn. So roughly around 12ish hours, 8 to 12 hours, something like that.
Split between three. My character will probably pass out in the middle of her shift because she's just like 12 or 13.
Stay up with you if you need. I'm already digging my hole.
You do need to at some point try to sleep though.
Yep.
So if you do need to figure out how you're going to do the guard shifts if you're going to do them.
I think I'll stay with this for first shift, and then we'll do have our Pegasus and someone else keep watch, and then I guess we'll have one person doing last shift, or a shift between.
So you're going to have to figure that out so I know who's doing what.
No, I'm waiting for feedback.
So Cameo gets to do a shift with the non-existent Pegasus.
Or whoever is. I thought Petrol is a Pegasus.
Yeah, Petrol's not here.
Yes, so he is non-existent Pegasus. He exists, but he doesn't. Ooh.
He's right now a brain listener.
Yeah.
Think of him like a...
Like for a second, I was dealing with the rabbit.
You're doing second shift with the non-existent Pegasus.
Oh, great.
So, my first shift. I need the both of you to roll perception.
Perception. Okay. I pass.
Okay. I'm still
That's this one.
okay. So while you guys are on your shift, for the most part it's quiet, but you do see things moving out in the darkness at the very far edge of your little campfire. Because you went for comfortable, which means you guys have a campfire.
Yep, I stayed next to us.
Okay. But other than the moving shapes in the distance, your shift passes uneventfully.
Okay.
Second shift, which would be just cameo.
Okay, hold on. Give me a second.
Comment. When the shift changes, do you remember to wake up the next shift?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Did you two wake up the next shift?
Yes.
Yes.
I passed. I managed to pass just because.
Okay.
Okay. And I will go ahead and do this. And his was... Yes, I am rolling for the non-existent Pegasus.
Yeah.
I probably should have opened his sheet to begin with.
Probably would have been a good idea.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Pegasus, the non-existent Pegasus also passes.
Discord says you're not streaming.
Discord? Discord shouldn't...
Well, it says well, you need to text it and then it says that you're streaming.
They're live, so
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to point that out because I wasn't sure.
As long as it's live on the YouTube side, I could care less what Discord says.
Okay.
Although it has been kind of
Yeah.
weird. So,
Yeah, carry on.
what was I saying? Oh yeah. So you and Vigil both see the same shadowy things. Although you get the added effect of glowing lights occasionally, off in the distance.
They look so cool.
And
Lights are- Would the others mind if I check it out? Seriously. Is it possible to get closer to the glowing lights?
You can attempt to.
oh god.
I was about to say, it depends on how you're trying to do it, too. Petrol will be staying in the camp.
I'm
Sitting.
going faster, I think, but I'm not creeping on it. It's more like I'm walking just like a little bit closer to it to check it out.
The lights seem to be just out of, like, a decent viewing range still.
How far is that thing? Okay, that's it. I'm waking up next shift so they can see this.
So, Paige, you have been awoken.
You see those lights?
perception check, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, from as far as you can tell at this distance, it could be just about anything. But they are small and moving. So,
Do you have any idea what those things can be? They don't seem like fireflies, because when I tried getting closer, they stayed the same distance away. Hello? Are you still tired?
A little. Trying to think. Keep an eye on it. If anything happens, I'll wake everyone up.
Alright.
so is Paige going to go ahead and start their shift?
Yeah.
So, go ahead and make another perception roll.
I actually failed.
Oh no.
I have not gone to sleep, do I have to reroll? Let's see if we both fail on this one.
No, actually, by this time you would be asleep.
During my shift.
So, for whatever reason, Petrol is not asleep though, and you are watching him drool on himself because he is non-existent today.
Actually, in this case, probably my character's starting to snooze off, not actually paying attention to anything.
I mean, staring at a Petrol that doesn't actually exist counts as not paying attention to anything.
Fair.
Well, Fair's not in this game, so it's hard to pay attention to him anyways. I heard that sigh. So, the the sun rises, and the first thing that you notice, Paige, as the sun is rising before everybody wakes up, is what looks like some sort of track, like vehicle track.
Oh. Just go around, wake everyone up.
Everybody should be of the awake.
Oh, what's
5
up?
more minutes.
I give an extra kick.
Ow. Rub my eyes. They glare Paige.
I could have just traded Earth over top of you and dropped it on you.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what's happening with the lights?
Not that I noticed.
Alright, then.
Thanks for the fact that I now see the vehicle tracks.
Bats?
We got the tracks in this in the dirt around us.
So, for those of you just waking up now, the first thing you notice about the tracks is they're kind of big. And it's one of those how did you miss this moments.
I may have not been fully awake when I was left by myself.
Oh, come on, really?
Says the one who got left with the drooling Petrol.
Yeah.
But you guys are awake, the sun is up. I would suggest possibly, eating something before trying to continue. So, so your solution to lack of food is already talking, and needs to roll. I believe there's a tracking skill specifically. No, it's not a tracking skill.
I'm tracking.
Oh yeah, you do have tracking. There it is. I can't tell it to reorder itself in the correct order, so yep, you have a tracking of 14. So go ahead and roll.
I think 11 passes.
It it does pass. So as you guys are following Nasa around, because nobody has food at the moment.
I thought I still had the roach thing. It was a lot of meat.
You probably did. Yeah, exactly. We're ponies. Bonus angel.
Not one of us are plants.
Okay, equines. And a changeling. And a
Or
dragon.
equinoids.
So as
I
you,
do have a question.
I have answers.
I need to. I don't need to feed on actual. Sarah came out. That was loud.
I'll be in a second.
So what was the question? Because
Because of dog attack?
yeah.
And again, sorry, Gabriel. I'll unmute in a moment. The question is if I can actually, if I need to eat actual food, or do I just need to feed off of emotion?
Are you reformed or unreformed? Probably a question. So you do require feeding off of quote unquote love. With this, it's going to be basically draining fatigue points off of people.
Yeah.
So it'll be like a vampiric curse essentially. You have to do it, or you will start taking penalties.
When we went to sleep, what do we get? Getting back all of our fatigue.
Let's see. I believe
Max.
yes, I believe so. That is enough time. However, HP I believe takes longer. If Moon would unmute himself and weigh in on that for me.
Considering how expensive those fatigue points in health.
Yeah. I guess I'm eating camera.
Okay, so everybody roll a health check.
And I fail.
So you regain 0 HP.
I barely passed.
You regained 1 HP.
I never had to do it.
I mean, I can channel magic into healing page again if I need to.
If I remember correctly, you can only heal the wounds once.
Yeah.
With magic.
Yeah, with magic, it's assumed magic and most like medical skills, like first aid, unless you're like an actual doctor. Then it's assumed that you fix the wounds, but things don't heal that quickly.
It naturally heal.
Yes.
Continue on.
It's like trying to stitch a wound you already stitched. It's not going to help it heal quicker.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're back to full fatigue.
So,
And the other question is, how often do I need to feed?
I am going to say at least once daily.
Okay. So at the moment, I'm hungry because I didn't do it yesterday.
So, for
You could have tried to feed on the moon, but while we were asleep.
True,
It-
but we had a
So, are we ready to continue?
Yeah.
So, for Nasa, you find the tracks of something that seems vaguely medium-sized mammal of some sort. It has a paw print rather than a hoof print.
What kind of hole? Oh,
So, as you guys start to track this thing, you come up to a fairly decent-sized hole in the ground. What do? It looks like the entrance to something's lair.
Cast earthquake. Oh
no, no.
I mean, I peered into the hole.
You might not want to do that given how many different things can jump out your face.
Roll perception.
I passed.
You notice that yes, it is dark in this hole.
I read light.
I mean, you're going to need to, because last I checked, you don't have dark vision.
No, I do not. Let me look at my distance spells real quick. Besides just throwing an explosive fireball into the hole, I'm going to shoot a cheap fire and then attempt to put it into the hole to see what's inside. And
Have to create fire before you can shave it.
well, okay, I created fire successfully,
Okay.
but it fizzles.
Good job. Without pissing off everything inside?
Yeah, because otherwise I'll be shooting fireballs at them.
Can I try to listen to see if there's anything in there?
So roll a perception at -2.
I have acute hearing. Does that change anything?
Do it at like a -1 then.
I have passed.
Okay. So you do hear the sound of something, for lack of a better description, snoring in there.
I whisper to the others. I think there's something sleeping in there. No, okay, fine. Let's leave it alone.
I mean, it's food.
How big is the hole?
So the hole's big enough for Nasa and Moop to get inside, but just a bit too small to fit the unicorn, and I'm not entirely certain how to...
Basically about the same size as this, probably smaller.
Don't worry.
So the kids can fit.
I'm a hunter. I can do this. I'm going to crawl into the hole.
Okay.
Also going to do some stabbing thing.
So are you bringing a weapon, or what are you doing?
Some weapons.
I mean, the party has track of whatever they've found so far.
Well, I have one spear and lead pipe.
I can throw a
I
fireball.
can't use any of those. I cannot use any of those. I will go in alone. Are you sure about that? Can't see in there. Fine. Do any of you have a light? I have a fire.
And I have fire too, but it's not.
We all saw how reliable that was.
Yep. I mean, I can throw a fireball in there. Maybe something will catch a fire.
Oh my god.
Catch fire.
Can I try to smell inside to see if there's anything in there that might be dangerous?
So go ahead and let's see. You have. This would be so much easier if I could tell it to put it in order. Roll naturalist at a -1.
I pass.
Okay, so as far as you can smell, there's not anything, but there's also the overpowering scent of whatever the hell's been eaten down there, which you can tell is some sort of meat, given the
What type of meat?
not from the smell, given the fact that it's kind of a decaying meat smell at this point.
Also, go poof. Probably. If there's nothing.
Well, I had just checked there's no methane in there. At least no nothing that smells like it would be flammable. Can you come in with me?
Sure. I'll go in with you.
So I'm going to make a suggestion here, and I'm not going to do this often, but I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it, but most of the time when people are trying to get creatures out of burrows, they try smoking them out rather than climbing in the tiny hole with them.
Normally, yeah, you have to smoke. Because you want to make, prevent fresh oxygen from getting into the hole.
Oh, I have that actual spell called smoke.
Well, why didn't you mention that before? That would be so much easier. Why
Well, I
didn't
could
you
also
mention
just blow them up, that would be faster. But
I think we'll also collapse.
Yes, then we don't have food. If you smoke it out, we can find it.
okay, let me actually concentrate and choreograph my incantation. So.
Yeah, we can probably just get some of the shrubs thingy. We saw the dead plants. Set that on fire. Put it close enough to smoke it.
Yeah.
Just true.
Moon also put something helpful for those that are attempting magic things.
Yes. I guess I'll have to cast it into the hole. Instead of trying to shove the.
Yes, have you ever tried to grab a cloud of what is essentially vapor and shove it in something? I'm pretty sure you can't just grab hold of it.
I bet you're probably gonna hold it down with telekinesis, but. Anyways. I pass away incantation.
Okay.
And it's going to be inside the hood, unless if he decides to tell me something else.
He's typing again, so I'm not sure if he's got some words of wisdom for you or telling you you did it wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, if I need you to send me the GCS file, Argo. Yeah. The GCS file allows me, if I need to make any edits to it to send to you, I can do so. Did you see what he said, Ellis?
Yeah, how far down is the hole?
Well, as far as you can tell, it's a lot longer than your arm can reach, or, well, hoof, leg. You know what I mean.
Yeah. So I guess it. I mean, I can cast it into the hole. And it will shoot straight into it.
Is it just the file that I had saved as, or is the copy that you received?
It should, it looks like you saved it as a PDF. You need to save it as the, like...
Exported.
Okay. Then, yeah, it should be the file that you save it as in order to open it up in the same thing.
Yeah, I had to figure it out the first time. So save it first and then just send it to Nameless that way. Because it'll save it as a GCS.
Now,
So I'm just putting it into the hole.
okay. And hold on, I'm looking at your smoke casting ability.
Get to 12 and then I have a plus 2 for incantation.
But if you look at what Moon said, you can cast area spells not centered around you by taking the distance penalty to where you want to change the center. So I'm trying to... Should be like maybe at most a 1.
No, 1 penalty.
Yeah, because it's not that far from you.
Yeah, so it would be 13 instead.
I don't actually know though, because... Oh, he... 3 yards, -1. Yeah, so it's a -1.
Okay, so I still pass because of the incantation.
Okay. So, you now have a billowing cloud of smoke coming out of the hole. And
Step out. Step away.
and as your smoke continues to do its thing, you start hearing something from inside getting very upset. A lot of snarling and growling.
Okay.
Sounds nasty.
And who is closest to the hole right now?
I have backed up.
I had back to you after I finished.
I think I'm relatively the closest, because I don't think I backed up that much. I think I'm relatively the closest.
Okay. So out charges what can only vaguely be described as a wolf anymore. So
No way.
Ah! What even is that thing?
so
Looks kind of like a wolf.
the hold on just a sec. I need to make sure that that went where I told it to go. It did not. Oh, no, there it is. So I can close this finally. So size and shape wise, it looks like your average like wolf. So it's roughly about the size of a grown pony, because most dogs and dog-like things of that nature seem to be about the same size as a grown pony. But instead of fur, its skin is all black and has glowing purple lines crisscrossing all around it, almost in a rune-like pattern.
This doesn't look like food.
Can I use my hidden spirit lore to see if there are any spirits affecting this?
Go ahead and roll.
I scream and run. My voice is not really be screaming IRL.
See, so you're.
Where's my hidden lore?
It's a 10. Would you roll?
That is not pass.
So
Not the plan.
you can't really. You know something has happened to this thing that has changed it, but you can't tell if it's like a spirit thing or like an arcane thing or what. My two magic users are working to roll thaumaturgy to see if they can.
What's hymology?
Thaumaturgy?
No, I'm asking that as a fact that you don't actually have that.
I could have sworn you did.
Nope.
Did you? Okay, so then it was just Slashing Shadow that had it.
I failed that by 1.
You also don't know what exactly the hell is going on here. You
I know it's something magical. I know spells. I just throw them.
well, at this point, you know something big and angry with full of teeth just came flying out of the hole in the ground. And it is attacking first available thing.
Oh my.
Do I roll?
Okay, go ahead and roll to either block or dodge. If you are going to do either. If not, just, I guess don't do anything.
Who is the nearest?
The dragon.
The Dargo.
That does not seem. That does not seem that.
Do I roll?
So if you look at your character sheet, up. Let's see, that is not what I was looking. There we go. So for your dodge, it'll be the very far right box underneath your points box where it says encumbrance, movement, and dodge. The far right number at the top where it's turned yellow. So yours is a 9. That's your dodge. For block, if you look down where you have your attack, you have parry and block, which apparently you cannot block, but you can parry, which is all 9s as well, apparently.
And I have to roll 3d6 for that?
Yes, and you're trying to get under a 9. Basically, doesn't matter which one you choose, so per se, but like kind of a flavor thing. What are you actually doing? Because all of your checks are the exact same. So
What if I try parrying? Oh shit! It works!
okay, so
Parrying works!
And then
if I remember correctly, Moon, does parry if you're afraid to be hit, you can dodge.
by the way, that doesn't work because I tried doing that, and it only does the 3 rolls being under 9, so it's gonna obviously be under 9.
You can dodge and retreat. What do you mean?
Not fair. We're trying to roll underneath and they got a 13.
Oh, I looked at the 9. Yeah.
Yeah, don't do the greater than or less.
Yeah, just you want the total of the roll. So you are taking the damage.
Until I actually figure out how to do it. I don't do it.
Alright. I'll take the damage.
We could
And with your damage reduction, you do not take damage.
That's nice.
I still get to get the crap out of.
Yes, you do get mauled anyways.
Ah! Get it off me! Get it off me! Get it off me!
It is now party's turn. So party, do what party want to do in the order the party want to do it.
So I have some. Can I just roll my boxing? I have multiple things.
Wolf is about your size. It would drop 3 feet, yes. For Nasa, you have your boxing, but that's just... So the idea is that's like a general attack kind of deal. If you look up here, your punch is 15. That is because of your boxing. You see where it says melee weapons?
Yes, I'm looking at that.
Yes.
So I'll punch at it with my horse.
Okay. Go ahead and roll.
What do I need to roll under? Do I roll under my boxing or do I roll under something else?
So when you're using a melee attack, it'll be under the melee weapons thing, and you have to roll under the level if you're looking at that. So in case of your punch, you're trying to roll under a 15.
Rather likely yet.
You're knowing y'all's luck, probably. Oh no, you hit it. Now it is. Hold on just a second, because I'm too lazy to pick up the dice and already started typing. Okay, so it dodged your attack.
That is unfortunate.
Yes, you guys get to do it, so do the enemies. That is actually a really good roll, though. So, who's going to go next?
I'll let Paige go first.
Trying to make use of my earth magic.
Okay, well, I'm going to throw an explosive fireball at it.
Remember, it takes you time to cast that.
Yeah. I'm going to cast explosive fireball. Obviously, have to just pass.
Also, if you guys were paying attention to the chat, Moon has said things. Let's see. So, that should be a pass for you, Ellis.
It is a pass for me because I am under 15.
Yeah. So, you have 1 to 3 rounds depending on how long you take. How many fatigue points are you in rounds of casting are you sinking into this?
Just one round. 'Cause
Okay.
I don't have very many fatigue points, anyways.
You should be full after
Because of me casting spells earlier.
Oh yeah, that's true. So,
Yeah. I've got 6 left.
okay. So, you are casting. It is now Paige's turn.
Oh, failed casting does not cost. I wish I knew this before, because this would have been helpful.
Yeah, and I don't know how many spells you've cast, passed, and failed, so You're just stuck with it now.
I'm trying to read this.
Because it's not my job to keep track of your stuff.
I'm trying to read through the combat action list to see what things do.
Trying to understand the shape pattern because the way I want to use it is to make them hit underneath.
I'm pretty sure it still has to go somewhere. Like, I know it says shape it, but I'm pretty sure you can't just like suck it up around him. Oh, there you go. Moon has given you an answer.
Well, I'm reading it and I'm still trying to figure out what.
Move Earthman, shape it in any form. If the form is stable, it remains permanently. Stable form. After shaping, an unstable storm will only last for the spells. Earth moved with this spell travels at only move 2. So I'm assuming that's like at most 6 yards. Or something like that. Because I think each area is supposed to be like 1 yard or something. Or 3 yards or... My brain is like... That might be 2 yards. I may be dumb. It's 1 per, not like 3 per. Right, Moon? For like movements. Okay. 2 yards. Yes. Yes, that is the assumption. I would also like to point out that it is not especially hard packed. It is apparently loose earth. Although he has a hell of a roll to try and get out of there.
If I bury him.
Yes. I like how excited it is to tell you that a GM can make it harder.
Oh yeah. I'll have to roll to see if I can cast the spell. Apparently I can.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a botched spell. So, I think that is everybody but Moop.
Yep.
Moop,
Let's cast some fire and see if it does anything. Oh wow. Yeah, that's definitely a pass.
roll damage. Remember, your stuff is different than theirs. Just the 3D. Just roll 3D.
Yeah.
No, it's 3.
I know. It's like laptop that's kind of leaking out right now.
Okay. So when you do that, you watch as the fire just kind of washes over it. The purple lines, the runic patterns on it glow. Okay, my internet apparently had a seizure as well.
Oh god, everything's dying.
Oh my.
And it works. The parry works.
Okay. You have managed to parry. You will not be mauled this time.
Platypus?
Parry the
Oh yeah, so
platypus.
I didn't realize this fell afterwards.
So it is now the turn of the party.
I'm going to attack.
Well, roll to attack.
I've also been looking over the combat actions and it is very confusing.
We're working on the basics right now.
Yes. So, I punched.
That is a pass.
Yes. So, I passed a punch.
Let's see. Give me.
Do I do anything else?
Hold on. I'm checking to see if he. You have been dodged again. Apparently, he's got all of the hops. So, next party member. I believe this is a point where at least one of the casters can do a casty thing.
I'm going to throw the spell.
So Yeetus yeets the spell.
It flies by because it's 1 point above.
You watch as the fireball goes off into the distance.
I successfully save Earth this time.
Oh,
From underneath the wolf.
okay.
Slowly sink into the earth.
Wolf is confused now. Not actually confused, but just confused.
Roll20 does have a GURPS character sheet.
I'm aware, but I didn't want to fight Roll20 as well as the GURPS character sheet. You know what I mean? Because Roll20 likes to be temperamental too. Yes, I'm aware that it exists. I've seen it done. Person that did so is actually the person helping with the campaign right now. So, next person to do a thing, because he is now in hole. I don't know if that's supposed to give you any kind of advantages or anything, but he's in a hole in the ground. Because I don't really see a mention of it's like you moved it, but you didn't say if you did anything else with it. So okay. So well, confused wolf is confused in a hole. +2 defense against range, -3 to melee. Yeah, we go with that. So, who's gonna do another thing? I think Moop is the only one left. Which I believe your breath weapon actually does count as a ranged weapon. Or ranged attack, at least.
Yes. Range attack.
Yes, I figured as much.
Yep.
Okay. Moop has killed the wolf again.
Are we gonna check it out though? Because it's like.
Wait, you said?
Yes, it is dead.
Oh, I do the death pretty low here.
Yes.
Well, I wouldn't call it. I wouldn't call it cooked. I would say it's scorched. The outer parts of it, at least. So, for the casters and or the one caster who has the ability, and the spirit knowledge person, you can attempt to.
Does any creature here
It was I was about to say you can attempt to see if you can figure out what the hell's going on with it.
I was going to try to cook it.
That would be a separate roll. I would not make you roll spirit knowledge to cook a wolf. Well,
Wait, I do have lore, spirit lore.
that's exactly what I was talking about.
Passed.
So now that you're not being actively attacked by it, you do know that for Nasa, you know that it isn't something that you've seen from your homeland, and it doesn't look like you're a zebra spell fetish did it or anything like that. In fact, this isn't the kind of magic that you're used to. So you have next to no knowledge other than it's kind of fucked up. For our spellcaster, on the other hand, you recognize it as some sort of arcane mutation. So as far as you can tell, it was the yes, it was hit by some sort of really like strong backlash, not necessarily the spell itself. And from what you could tell, it was actually the markings were acting almost as armor. They are starting to stop glowing though now that it is dead.
Does any creature here have a knife ready to skin it?
I don't think any of us have a knife. Probably the closest thing. Make myself a stone knife.
Hold on just a sec. Somebody has managed to connect to my speaker in my room.
Oh no.
It's always awkward when they. I think this is it. No, it's this one.
When they do it.
Yes, because it's one of those. Hey, that's mine.
You ain't supposed to touch it, please.
And I don't know how to just like prevent it from happening.
Leave it off.
It doesn't turn off. It's weird. I'm actually about to go do that because it sounds very mariachi, and this is not something I want playing during my D&D game, especially not with the theme. It just doesn't fit. I'll be back. I have returned.
Hello. I copy the markings of the wolf.
So you're trying to basically do a sketch of the wolf, because that's essentially what you would be doing.
Yes.
See.
Can I take a sample from the wolf?
Hold on. I'm looking at something. One person at a time. So I'm going to say writing at a -2 because you're trying to do drawing. And I don't see you having a drawing skill here, so.
No, I have artist. Yeah.
Oh, you do have artist. I see it now. I just had to tell it to put it in alphabetical order. So just artist drawing.
Alright, let's see if I get this. Yes. I got it.
And I found the easy way to turn off describe array mode Moon. I just unplugged it. It's kind of hard to connect to something. It has no power. Yeah, for whatever reason, the power button doesn't actually turn it off.
He just puts it to sleep. Nice.
Not even that, because I've hit the power button while it was connected to something to turn it off, and it just kept playing.
Yeah, the button was broken.
Eh. So, that was a 5. And your skill is a 13, I believe. So, you get a really good sketch of it.
Nice.
And we'll say that all the supplies came from the camping thing. Yep. I was also going to point out that there was a small non-combat type knife in there, but you guys decided to come up with your own.
I don't I didn't know what was in the camping gear.
You also didn't ask.
Fair. I suggested getting shaper than Earth to Snow, but I obviously I did it. I snowed on the new cast to see if I was gonna sit in the cast. Now that I know that there's a knife, I would produce the knife if I can. So.
I will use that knife.
So, for Nasa, you have a cooking skill, I believe. Yes.
Is it?
Do a skill check.
Are there any herbs nearby? Or water? Might be able to make soup. Or stew.
So,
Looks like you like
I would like to try to take a sample from it.
Well, that guy's not prepared yet. You should be able to.
you can. Trying to decide which one I want you to roll with. Let's go with. Go with survival at a -3. Because this is not swampland, it is definitely a. No, it's a prairie. So basically the opposite.
I have exactly passed.
And while she's out doing survival things, I'm going to take a sample from the wolf. I just need something.
you take a single strand of hair.
I mean,
Okay.
enough for me to be able to like use it to be my changeling thing.
So, as the closest thing you can find are those same scrubby bushes. And as far as you can tell, they really don't have much in the way of like flavor for cooking.
Is there any water nearby?
Again, no.
Do we have water? Because that would be very good to know.
You do not have water. You were the first person to ask this question.
Yeah, I was about to ask the exact question. Because we have frost water. The closest thing we have to water is a healing potion. Yes.
Do you not know how to survive?
We could just go.
Yes, they are all in the same boat as you, as waking up in a random pod somewhere.
Yes, but it is like a village place.
Hey, I could fight at the very least.
For now.
Anyway, since there is no way that I can use super stone, it will probably be best to just for first. I will do my cooking and I will try to work on magic.
We need some honey.
Oh, Raj's supposed to be good at cooking too.
Oh, I know, but
Tapahani. Jonathan Bell.
I feel like you just got cussed out in French.
yeah, I think so too. don't know what it is. Continue.
Was that?
Pass.
Yes, that is a pass.
This is going to be good meat. Also, the brushes, there is no spices or herbs among them, right?
No herbs or anything. It's just kind of a scrubby little shrub thing. You know, the kind that's just like there to be annoying when you're trying to climb through them. It's got really tiny little leaves.
Good for fires. Not for everything else.
Yeah, basically. It exists to be a fire hazard and cause less erosion. Other than that, it has no real purpose. It's even bad for shade.
I hope you are like meat.
Okay. So now you have food. And that entire ordeal took you to we'll say you got up around 6ish when the sun was up. And it's now about 10. Because, you know, cooking food.
How does it taste?
Honestly, really good.
You're actually eating that.
Yes. Are you not?
This is a point where somebody points out, do you see anything else here to eat?
I mean, I see it.
Like my cooking?
Yo, come on, try it. It's really good.
Is it says you should put to the around to disregard the cooking?
Oh my.
Like, no one else sees anything wrong with this.
Why would we?
I understand the dragon.
I don't actually. I just.
Well, you do technically eat.
Yeah, you love. Or emotion.
Well, in this case, fatigue points.
Yes.
And like looking at the rest of the party, it's like, I don't know. I think, like, 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 I think, like,
So Paige has decided to starve.
Hey, I just realized something. Since we got that thing out, can we check what's inside its little den? Maybe there's some jewels or something in there.
You can go ahead and see if you can find anything.
Okay.
You don't fit, Paige, remember?
Did you think the cast spells to increase the size of the
And what was... Perception. Perception. Okay, so you passed your perception. So once you get in there, the first thing you realize is, yes, it is dark. The darkness is dark. Until you get to the end of the den, which is a slightly more opened up area that it was using to sleep, and you see a dimly glowing rock. It isn't a gemstone. It does appear to be some sort of crystal, but it is not a gemstone.
What is this? I lick it just to test it out.
It tastes kind of stale. And not in a pleasant stale. That kind of stale where you just don't want to try it. It's also kind of tingly when you lick it, too.
You grab it and bring it to the surface.
I'm still in there for a moment before that idea comes in, and then I just walk out. Hey, any of you guys know what the hell this is? Tastes awful.
I'm assuming you can do a magic check.
Yes.
I know nothing. Can I make an assumption beforehand that it may be something like us to change?
See, hold on. I am checking your thing because I don't know if that's a pass.
It would be a fail unless I got a bonus.
I'm going to say just re-roll it. See if you do better.
Unless you want me to roll and just do it.
So, you actually recognize it as a spellstone. So, essentially what it does is you can use it instead of using your fatigue points to cast.
But it is limited to a specific spell, if I'm not wrong.
No. This one, it only gives you a total of 5 points to work with extra, but it is good enough that it doesn't have any quirks like that. But it does have a quirk. You just don't know what it is.
Any of you guys recognize this thing? It doesn't taste like a normal gem.
I would have asked for it. Would it enhance my ability to do magic? Would it still have... Okay, would it help any magician's ability to do magic?
So, are you going to attempt to explain the idea behind it? Because
You know how if someone were to cast magic normally, they get more exhausted over time, right?
the dragon has died. Hello?
No, it's not died. I'm just staring at this. I'm just staring at it like, yo, there's no reason for something with magic to taste this bad. Oh, wait, what did you say? Sorry.
You know that when I cast my magic, I get much higher with each spell I cast.
Yeah, it's like running for you guys, right? It's just using energy.
Well, if I were to cast using that stone, up to a certain point, I will not get exhausted.
And here we go with the dragon hoarding.
Can't wait until my little special test comes along with my phone.
Yeah, that ain't wolf. Let me see. Oh,
Also,
defeat.
Moon is sharing things that everybody should look at, especially the people that have not been eating.
Yeah, I understand that. I have MP pool of 11 right now.
So, you guys still have daylight to burn. Are you going to continue moving?
Yes, we need to look for water. Don't we not?
Water will be an important thing to have access to.
Yes, very much.
But again, the dragon report is stemming from I have the new spellcasters.
I mean, you didn't try and take it or anything, so it's kind of on you.
And I was the one who went to get it.
That's alright. You want to hold on to the healing potion? Considering I'm the one holding on to that. And that'll be immediately more useful to you if anything were to happen than with a spell stone.
I was the one who got it. I was the one who defeated the wolf. Oh, mine. I'll give it to you when you need it. Don't worry. It's still mine.
We're having a green dragon met me the other night.
So,
Have
Because my telekinesis
Hey, don't do that. Put me down.
I said as German actually do.
I have a question. Can I, since there's nothing else around, can I feed off of one of you? Love? Or emotions, or whatever?
I raise an eyebrow and step away.
How does that happen? What?
I don't exactly eat, like, food. I eat emotions.
They very much have emotions right now. Well, I guess you can have some of mine. Just don't take all of it. It's still mine.
mine.
Dragon don't beat up for me.
Hey, I'm sharing, okay? I just share under specific conditions, okay? And I'm still sharing, okay? Do not be mad at me. Can't eat my anger so that I can stop feeling this. You think this could pick up me?
Maybe. Do I need a roll for any of that?
No, because you're not trying to be sneaky about it. But
Since I didn't.
whoever you feed off of loses a fatigue point, and if you progressively feed off of someone, the more they'll lose.
Well, since I didn't eat yesterday or today, I might as well just top off. And be good for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Total?
Yeah.
Okay, so one from Moksha and one from me. That seems about right. Alright, perfect.
So, Paige will be the only one starving.
Yes. Because I'm foregoing eating meat.
We're gonna see if there's any actual plants, and then you're gonna be like, oh shit.
Is there any meat left though? Because we could store it for like later.
I'd say there's enough for 3 days for the ones that did eat.
Nice. Put
I
away
think
my
it's if I
stuff.
start eating.
Yep.
I don't know how willing my character is going to be to eating meat.
I feel like you just got called an idiot for not eating. Either that, or you have insulted her by not trying her cooking.
That too.
Or both.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably both. So,
Also called an idiot by other people because it's just stupid.
you guys ready to start walking again?
Yep.
So, as you guys are walking, after a little while, you start to see a slight change in the.
There's still heading north.
I think it's the idea like stubborn. Goats are stubborn. Moon.
Yes, it means head of goat.
Yes.
Wow. I didn't even do it, and I was just going head of goat. Okay.
She. So you guys start notice a slight change in the landscape, only slight, and by that I mean there are lots of really dead trees. And before long, you see a what you could have sworn might have been a sign at some time, but it's kind of just all over the ground. What's up?
I looked up and you're able to read it anyway. I cannot communicate damage.
Well, it's kind of in an illegible state at this point. It doesn't take you much longer until you find the remains of one of the first buildings on the outskirts of Appaloosa. And I say remains. There's a foundation there.
Nothing to salvage? It's a singular building, but
No, this is the first of the buildings around Appaloosa, and there's nothing left but a foundation.
yeah, a building, but there's nothing left but a building, but
It just took me a minute to realize what exactly you were trying to say there.
To be fair, I was unsaying about.
So, as you guys move further in, you do start to notice that the buildings that are still standing aren't made of wood. They're made of metal. Granted, they are badly damaged and age-worn metal now, but at some point, the majority of the buildings left here must have looked like bunkers. You also start seeing the same strange uniform pony corpses as you did in the underground facility that you guys came from.
it's the same pony groups. Kind of look like it. I should check these thingies. Maybe they have something worth noting.
So you can either roll search or scrounge to look for things.
Is there anything else you can find already?
Let's see.
Don't think I have any searches.
See, hold on just a sec. I know I'll have you roll if you don't have something, but I could have sworn you had something that would work for it. No, you don't. Okay, so just roll a perception -2. Oh, apparently me and Moon were on the same boat there.
Does not pass.
Nope, that does not pass.
So what are we looking for?
Either roll.
Just looking for stuff, and it seems like I might have found something.
Yep, no,
I'm gonna do the search, and I passed.
Okay. For Moop and Synax, as you guys are digging around, you find a number of the 7.62 rounds that you for the rifle that you found for yes, he is currently busy drooling. There is a total of 12 of them. Somebody does need to be making notes of everything that you guys find, because if you do not remember them, you don't have them.
I'm making notes.
You also find a flat object that it's making a weird buzzing noise, and as far as you can tell, it's some sort of electronic. But again, it is something beyond the technology that you guys are generally aware of. You also find a children's crossbow in one of the houses.
This is my nice.
I found it. I don't. I was the one who found it because at least asked. Like, yeah, that was
Sorry. I'm sorry. May I please?
Okay, here you go. You have the crossbow.
Thank you very much.
You can attempt to make some sort of ammunition for your crossbow, by the way.
How would I do that?
With all the dead trees.
Yeah, sticks. For skill, give me just a sec. Let me look at what you got. Again. I'm going to say survival swamp at a -1. Actually, no, just survival swamp. Either that or you could try traps. Either one of them. You're basically making a sharpened stick with something at the end to keep it from, like, not working. The 2d -2 for the damage. Yes, all dice are d6.
Okay. Also, I have rolled successfully.
Okay. You have made yourself. We'll go with one roll is 10 bolts.
Also, is there any weapon on this character sheet where I can keep track of my inventory?
So if you go up to where it says item, and yes, and it should open up a box at the very bottom. For Cyanax, your search, you find yourself a decently intact combat knife. I mean, all the pieces are attached, considering it was one big piece to begin with.
Yeah.
It had like a cord wrapped around the handle, yeah, but that has long since rotted away. You also find a number of similar tablets, but all of yours seem to be in non-working condition, not giving you any kind of indication that anything happens when you tap it or try to mess with it.
There's a whole bunch of tablets that do nothing.
Yes. I will note that every tablet that you find is attached to a corpse in some way, whether it's like a piece of cable or just like they're holding it. I will also say that you do notice several griffin skeletons along with ponies that seem to be predominantly earth ponies and pegasi.
Okay. I'm going to search to see if there's a cord that goes to these tablets and a plug. Might be useful earlier.
So, on closer inspection of the tablets and the cables that you find amongst the corpses, you realize that for the most part, they don't seem to have any actual cables that fit the tablet itself per se.
And I go actually open one up and look at it here. I take a tablet and put it. So
You're not relying on the one that Moop found that's actually doing something.
yes.
He doesn't know I have that yet.
I know. But other than that, you don't seem to find much of use. You do see that they did seem to be defending the main part of the building whenever whatever happened to kill them killed them. Because there is a higher concentration of corpses there. You also, as a group, find a building that is intact enough that you can stay in it. And it also has a large tank in it that you can hear water when you bang on it. You're just not sure how exactly to get into it yet. So, let's see.
I think if I stab a hole on the top, it might work. Might get the water inside or something.
Hold on. I am checking to see if anybody has any skills that would help with you guys getting into and out of getting into the thing and the water out of it without losing it all.
Any of us with cars in the past probably could figure it out. But seeing that we don't have past lives, exactly.
Maybe someone else's past life.
Yeah, none of you have anything that would really work for this, so you're gonna have to figure it out. I will say that it is not in great condition.
Why are you laughing?
Look at the general stuff in the server.
Which, sir? I'm assuming that.
In
Fun fact, blood-headed bolts and arrows were historically used to hunt small game to avoid destroying the meat of the night.
sawtooths.
Oh, sawtooths.
Oh, how much? I feel like he actually didn't quite get that until it was. Take a screenshot of that for Moon to see.
Yeah. Well, the way it was that I posted I do, and then he posted as I would, just after I posted
It looks so much better not having seen the conversation as it was happening because it looks like he didn't quite realize what you said until later.
So good. Oh.
Oh, that was great. Okay, so what are you guys gonna do?
I was distracted with that combos, so
Pretty sure we could like have a hole at like the top to check down on it, see if it's actually water.
we could do that.
I will also say that you guys found something that if you need to boil water, you have a pot now.
We have a bowl or something that we could use. And I have telekinesis.
I have telekinesis too.
Or a spell that works like telekinesis.
So
I got a spear to stab.
you guys are gonna open up the top of it. Okay. So you guys have successfully penetrated the water tank. Are you guys wanting to... You guys want to go ahead and put a pin in it here for now? Because this is
If this is gonna lead to the combat, I'm assuming you were doing that with the combat for this session.
not necessarily. It's just a good spot for you guys to have some time to rest and actually have downtime before you start traveling again.
True. And this is also a good opportunity for him to assign points for us.
Yes. That is why I'm saying downtime. Downtime is actually a very important thing with GURPS because that allows you guys to like get better at things that you can do.
This is a good stopping point.
And you also have the chance. It'll give you a longer chance to like try and figure out the like the tablets and like try and learn more about your surroundings and things like that.
Yeah.
So, everybody cool with putting a pin in it for now? Okay. Well, for anybody that's still watching, we will be doing the Peacemakers campaign tomorrow and continuing their romp through the dungeon. And then after that, we'll be picking this one back up next week on Saturday. Everybody have a good night and drink water.